With two critically and financially successful films under his belt, George Lucas created Return of the Jedi, the third and last film in the original trilogy, and the sixth and final film in the Star Wars saga, hence the title, Episode 6. I actually have a confession to make about this film. I'd actually never seen this film before. Yeah, I know, I've seen all the movies, and yet I haven't seen this one all the way through. But I am going to fix that right now. Here are my thoughts on Return of the Jedi. It was pretty good. This film has two different plots going on. The first is our heroes Luke, Lando Calrissian, and Leia trying to rescue Han Solo from the gangster Jabba the Hutt. Han was frozen in carbonite by the third act of the last film, thanks to Darth Vader, and Vader sent him to Jabba. Now, Luke, Leia, and Lando, in disguise, are trying to rescue him from Jabba's clutches. But even when they do rescue Han Solo, there's still one other major plot point to mention. The Empire is building a second Death Star, one more powerful than the last, much to the delight of the Emperor. Our heroes have to go to the forest moon of Endor because the shield generator that is protecting the Death Star 2 is on that planet. That is also the same planet where the Ewoks live. With their support, our heroes will stop the Empire once and for all. Luke learns that not only is Vader his father, but through Obi-Wan he learns that Vader was once Anakin Skywalker, who was seduced by the dark side and he was subsequently destroyed. Obi-Wan felt guilty about it. Luke feels that there still might be good in him, but as Obi-Wan says, he is more machine now than man. Once he knows of this, Luke tells this to Leia, who is, dun dun dun, his sister. Luke is more mature in this film too. He's more in tune with the Force. He's much more wiser and smarter as a Jedi. We actually see his evolution as a Jedi, partly thanks to Obi-Wan and Yoda. And plus, we actually get to see him in the full Jedi mystique. The new characters are Lando Calrissian. Well, technically he isn't new because he was in Empire Strikes Back, but on his own, not under Vader's control, is new, I suppose. He is also a general, which, okay. And of course, the Emperor. Ian McDiarmid plays him perfectly. He can go from cruel and sinister one moment to acting doing the whole guilt trip thing the next. Whenever he is on screen, you can't take your eyes off him. Yeah, his performance may be a little goofy, but there's still that sinister atmosphere to him. I don't want to spoil too much of him, so I'll just let you see the movie for yourself. But you may be asking, why is he called the Emperor? Well, the only reason I can think of is when he was Darth Sidious, he was Senator Palpatine in disguise. And when Anakin became Darth Vader, and when they formed the Galactic Empire, he simply became the Emperor, I suppose. However, if you were to go by the originals alone, then Palpatine and Sidious never existed, and he is just the Emperor. Also, we have Admiral Akbar, who supervises the Rebel fleet, who are also trying to stop the Death Star too. He was a nice character, who, of course, says the infamous line, "It's a trap!" We do see old friends as well, like Obi-Wan, who provides a scene of useful information, and Yoda, who only has one scene before he dies. The film is important in terms of narrative structure because it ties the knots over who Vader and Leia really are. Even though you might have seen the prequels first and know who they are anyway, it is still interesting to see. And when we see Luke confront Vader, it's a powerful moment of character and story arc because there are so many emotions that are on this sequence alone. Of Luke almost done with his training as a Jedi and has to choose between confronting his father and showing the good left in him, or suffer the same fate as Anakin did by joining the Emperor and becoming his other apprentice, and also becoming a machine just like his father. The love relationship between Han and Leia is better this time around. It just feels more complete here. Darth Vader is less threatening in this film, partly because Luke is trying to convince Vader, aka Anakin, to turn good, but Vader says that it's too late for him. The father-son relationship is well handled. At least for one movie, it's not bad. Creating a father-son relationship is hard to do, because you have to create the chemistry between them relatable and understandable, and also you have to make 100% sure You make the relationship not too cliche, where you know that they are going to reconcile and make up and accept one another at the end. Sometimes it's done well, other times it's done poorly. Here, it's done decently. Not too cliche, but not too unpredictable either. It's a little of both. Also, remember the prophecy that was mentioned in the prequels? Well, it turns out that the prophecy would be fulfilled. It just took 20 or so years. The effects here are once again top notch. For 1983, this is just extravagant. You may notice that these space battles are like ballets, almost. They kind of remind me of Stanley Kubrick's 2001 A Space Odyssey, only faster and action-packed. Upon further research, I found out that there is only one person to thank for all of this: Ken Walston, a visual effects artist and supervisor who worked on not only the original Star Wars trilogy, but he also did the Back to the Future trilogy, Dragon Slayer, Cocoon, Castaway, Forrest Gump, and Who Framed Roger Rabbit, to name a few. The space battles are very choreographed, but with such awe and spectacle that you are like, whoa. Keep in mind, this is 1983. We never saw battles like these before Star Wars came around, and Return of the Jedi enforces why the Star Wars movies are so special. Well, one of the main reasons. The action sequence on Tatooine, where our heroes escape being destroyed thanks to Jabba, is exciting. The battle on Endor is cool. It makes this film different from the previous films, not to mention it happens at the same time as the space battle and the confrontation with Luke, Vader, and the Emperor. Speaking of which, the duel with Luke and Vader is better than in Empire Strikes Back in my opinion, because where in Empire the duel was to save his friends from him, in Return of the Jedi, the duel is the struggle between Luke saving his father and turning to the dark side, and becoming another Sith Lord. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the speeder bike chase on Endor? I actually love how they did it. A combination of Ben Burtt's wonderful sound design, Steadicam, and blue screens. It's thrilling, yet different. We see new planets and so many creatures from all walks of the galaxy, and they are only in 2 sequences and 2 planets. On Tatooine, we see Jabba's palace. We see different creatures and characters. I can't describe all of them, but Jabba is part of the Huttees, a race of slug-like creatures that were present in The Phantom Menace. Personally, I actually like Jabba as a villain. This fat slug-like thing who could do anything he wants. It's really interesting, and reminds me a lot of The Godfather in many ways. He almost lives like a gangster, and who could forget that laugh? Also, we have a Max Rebo band, consisting of Max Rebo, Droopy McCool, and the singer named Sly Snoodles. They're actually a pretty good group, and resembles this sort of dark, moody atmosphere in Jabba's palace. Another is Jabba's companion, who has a strange thing around his neck, and also some weird gremlin-looking thing that laughs a lot, who actually has a name, believe it or not. Salacious B. Crumb. Yeah, I guess that's how you pronounce it. The Pit of Carkoon, or Basarak, is an interesting looking creature, as well as the Rancor, who reminds me of a Kraken from Clash of the Titans. On Endor, we see the Ewoks, who are cute teddy bear looking creatures who become allies to our heroes. I know a lot of people don't like these guys because it's kind of like, oh, now we're doing the whole, wood versus steel kind of thing, but I actually kind of like them. It gives this film kind of like a childish edge to it. It's not bad. You could also say that these creatures are like the comic relief on top of the other comic relief. Although George Lucas wrote the film, just like with Empire Strikes Back, he didn't direct it. In his place is Richard Marquardt, who directed very few films in his career. Good thing he actually delivered a good product, Did you know that this movie actually had a different title? Yep, this movie was originally called Revenge of the Jedi, but the title was changed back to its original Return of the Jedi, mainly because Jedis don't extract revenge. Revenge is not the Jedi way. Honestly, I like the Return better because the Jedi are going to come back. Well, kind of. Yoda's dead, Obi-Wan is already dead, so it makes sense that Luke, being the only real Jedi left, the Jedi are going to come back. in a unique way. And it's all thanks to Luke. But the last film in the saga, it's a well-deserved finale. It's well-deserving of its fame. It's interesting, it expands on the story arc of Darth Vader, Luke, Leia, and Han Solo. The battles are the best of the three films, meaning it took the best elements of both films and multiplied it by 2. Plus, we do have some decent acting from the cast, and of course, the cast of creatures and characters, and inspired a lot of makeup artists to create their own creatures and characters. And it is a satisfying conclusion to the saga. There are some people out there who don't like this film, and there are also some people who say that this is not the best one out of the original trilogy. But I think it's a toss-up between A New Hope and Empire. No, wait, Empire and Return. No, hold on. A New Hope and Return. Okay, stop beating around the bush. I actually love all three of them. I can't decide between them. They stand on their own. As George said, they are like a 3-act play. Star Wars is the first act, Empire is the second act, and Return is the third act. Unfortunately, this once again is a target of George's special edition changes over and over. Again, if you see the movie on DVD or Blu-ray, the heart of the story is still the same, yada yada yada. When I say this film is the best or weakest compared to the last two, I can't say, it's really up to you. I say all three are equally good in their own right, but it's still a powerhouse film. Maybe not perfect, but it's definitely worthy of its title. If you are a fan of the previous films, then you'll like this. It's different from the other films in the saga. It's new and interesting. In fact, all the films in the original trilogy are unique and different from the previous films in the saga. Check out Return of the Jedi and see where you stand when it comes to this landmark finale.